Hi, I'm Lee Labrada, and welcome to Posing Like a Pro. Whether you're a bodybuilder entering a competition or just want to learn the finer points of displaying your physique, this video series will help you learn the secrets of great physique posing. As a former pro bodybuilder, I earned 7 consecutive top 4 placings in the IFBB Mr. Olympia and became known for my classical posing style. Now, as an IFBB Pro Bodybuilding Hall of Famer, I want to help you master the art of posing. In Lesson 1, Introduction to Posing, we covered an overview of the different posing rounds that you'll experience in a bodybuilding competition. As we discussed, you should view posing as a presentation in which you show your physique to the audience and judges. Bodybuilding is an art form, and in the gym you're sculpting your physique, except that instead of working in clay or marble, you're working in your own flesh. So when you pose, think of yourself as presenting your finished work of art, your body. How well you pose can impact your placing in competition. After all, if you don't present well, how can anybody, including the judges, see the strong points of your physique and give you the credit you deserve? So don't shortchange yourself. Learn to pose well. One of the 3 crucial rounds of bodybuilding competition is the general assessment round. In this round, which is sometimes also called the symmetry round, the judges will assess your physique in relaxed positions from the front, side, and back. You'll be asked to perform what are called quarter turn poses so that the judges can evaluate the symmetry and proportion of your physique. You'll be brought out and lined up with your competitor standing next to you for comparisons. Now, here's something important to keep in mind, and I can't emphasize this point too much. From the moment that you walk out on stage, you're in presentation mode. In other words, all eyes are on you and evaluating you, including the eyes of the judges. Even though the 4 quarter turn poses are supposed to be relaxed poses, they're not. You have to keep your midsection flexed and your tummy pulled in. Your chest should be high and your lats flared. And once in this position, your legs should be kept tight. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Helping me out today is Ryan Workman of Team Labrada. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Lee.
Okay, so the first quarter turn pose will have you standing facing forward with your arms by your side. Start this pose by taking a stance with your heels of your feet about 4 to 6 inches apart. I personally like to place my left foot pointing straight forward and then the other foot at about a 2 o'clock position. Once you have your stance, you want to bend your knees ever so slightly and tense your thighs. But be very careful because if you bend your knees too much, it's not going to look right. Next, we go to the midsection. If you have a great midsection, you want to go ahead and tense that really hard. But if you don't have a great midsection, then you'll want to suck your stomach in and hold your chest and your rib cage high. Next, flare your lats. You want your shoulders to look nice and wide, but that brings me to a really important point that I want to drive home. When flaring their lats, a lot of beginners have a tendency to bring their arms out way too much. This doesn't make them look bigger. In fact, it makes them look silly. So you don't want to look like you're carrying watermelons underneath your arms. Lastly, tense your arm muscles. You want to make those arms look nice and tight. You've got to learn to hold this pose for up to a minute at a time to give the judges plenty of time to assess your physique. The judges will then ask you to take a quarter turn to your right, and that exposes the left side to them. Okay, now it's supposed to be a relaxed stationary pose, but again, it's really not 100% relaxed. Remember that you're being assessed at all times. So you're facing the side of the stage, and again, you're going to start the pose from the ground up by placing your feet next to each other, then tightening your legs, then squeezing down and tightening your midsection. Now, if you don't have great abs, you can suck your midsection up into your rib cage to make your waist appear as small as possible from the side. You want to keep your rib cage and your chest high in that case. You'll want to ball up your left hand and place it against your thigh like this, and you'll want to tighten your tricep and your biceps muscles. Okay, so that's going to show your arms off really nice. You're going to twist ever so slightly, okay, the torso ever so slightly, kind of like almost like a 10 o'clock position, so that when the judges look at it, you don't look like you're twisted too much, because if you do, you're going to be called out and you're going to be told to stand facing straight ahead. So don't overdo the twisting. Keep your head facing the side of the stage. Next, the judges will ask you to take a quarter turn to your right again, and that leaves you facing the back of the stage. Okay, now this is going to give the judges the full view of your back. You're going to start with your feet about 8 to 10 inches apart. You're going to tense your calves. You're going to bend your legs ever so slightly to bring out the hamstring and the glutes. And then we go to the back. You want to flare your lats out to make that back and the shoulders look extra wide. Now remember what I said earlier about your arms. You don't want them flared out too far out to the sides because it looks silly, but you want them tensed, and you want to tense your lat and your back muscles. Okay, so then finally the judges are going to ask you to take another quarter turn to your right, which exposes your right side to them. And so this is pretty much the same thing that you did from the left side. So follow the same posing instructions that were suggested for that side. Twist slightly so that your right shoulder, okay, comes around to a 2 o'clock position. And then finally, after this, you're going to be asked to take another quarter turn, and you're going to be facing the front. Okay, so these quarter turns aren't too difficult, but they should be practiced for a few minutes every day, starting several weeks out from your competition. The reason for this is that you're isometrically tensing all of these muscles in your body at the same time, and that can be very tiring. You want to practice so that you can build up your endurance for your big day. Now here's some useful tips that you'll want to remember. Number one, remember that from the moment you step out on stage, all eyes are on you and the judges are assessing your physique. Number two, with that in mind, make sure that you stay tight. Even though the quarter turns are supposed to be relaxed poses, they're really not relaxed. Keep your midsection tight at all times. That's point number three, and don't let your belly hang out. I've seen many pros make this mistake, so you should be very conscious of it. Letting your belly hang out is the sign of an amateur. If you have built up your endurance by practicing properly in the weeks leading up to your show, then you shouldn't have to let your belly hang out in order to catch your breath. Control your midsection. That is the hallmark of a professional. Number four, start your poses from the ground up. You have to start by tensing your legs. After all, your legs are half of your physique. Number five, use a mirror and good lighting during practice so that you can learn your poses effectively. Many times the aerobic studio at your local gym is a great place for this. But if you don't have access to that, you can set up mirrors in a bedroom or garage if you need to. Have a friend videotape you and take photos of you performing your quarter turns so that you'll have visual feedback and can make modifications if necessary. Well, that wraps up lesson 2. Thank you, Ryan. Join me in lesson 3, where we're going to learn how to do the front mandatory bodybuilding poses, including the front double biceps, the front lat spread, and the hands overhead abdominals pose. We'll talk about all of my best tips for performing your front mandatory poses. I'm Lee Labrada, and you're watching Posing Like a Pro.